Let's move on to conduct of business, please.
Item 7A, adopt a resolution submitting to the voters at the November 3rd, 2020 election a City of San Bruno recovery and reinvestment measure, increasing the transient occupancy tax, hotel bed tax.
Director DeMartini.
Okay, good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. Keith Martini, your Finance Director, here again. I'll be delivering the presentation this evening on the city's local recovery and reinvestment effort, which includes the potential measure of increasing the transient occupancy, or more better known as the hotel bed tax. This was discussed at the last City Council meeting 2 weeks ago in a study session, and staff has taken the feedback from the City Council and incorporated that into the staff report that is before you this evening, and ready to move forward. So the objective for this presentation this evening is to adopt a resolution submitting to the voters at the November 3rd, 2020 election a City of San Bruno recovery and reinvestment measure, increasing the transient occupancy tax. The agenda for this evening is to review the ballot question, which was thoroughly reviewed with the City Council in the prior City Council meeting, and then make our formal request to the City Council to place this revenue measure on the ballot, and then discuss next steps and take any questions that you might have. So first, the ballot question. So here is the ballot question that is before you this evening, and I'm going to go ahead and read it and then just summarize the minor changes that were made to it. The ballot question is as follows: to maintain fund city services facilities such as addressing traffic congestion, parking, maintaining neighborhood safety, 911 emergency medical response times, disaster health crisis response services, park city facilities, and general services, shall an ordinance updating the City of San Bruno's existing transient occupancy tax, a bed tax paid only by hotel lodging guests, from 12% to 14% until ended by voters, providing approximately an additional $370,000 annually for San Bruno, with independent audits, all funds controlled locally, be adopted. So from the presentation that we delivered at the last City Council meeting, there were only minor changes that were made based on the direction from the Council. We removed the word annual, we removed the word oversight from the second to last line, as staff presented to you and as agreed to by the City Council. That now only, that line really has been updated to only say with independent audits. We have also just standardized some of the language and ensured consistency with the cannabis tax measure that will be presented at the next item on your agenda, and really those were the only changes to the question itself. There was a change made to the ordinance at the request of the City Council that I'll describe on this slide. The resolution first, it features, as I said earlier, removing the word oversight from the ballot question. It also allows the city to submit to the voters the TOT rate increase on the November 2020 election. And it also authorizes a process permitting a community submittal of an argument if a community member would choose to do so, and also the city attorney's impartial analysis. On the ordinance, however, we did include language on it, as described in the last City Council meeting, that provides the City Council with the authority to reduce the rate below 14% if the City Council would choose to do so. That authority is only a change in the ordinance itself, and it was not any change that was required on the ballot question. The ordinance also authorizes the increase from 12% up to 14%. It confirms that any additional revenue from this revenue measure, that all of the proceeds are for general city purposes, and it makes the effective date of the rate increase March 1st of 2021. So with that, staff would like to request the City Council to adopt the resolution submitting to the voters at the November 3rd, 2020 election the City of San Bruno recovery and reinvestment measure, increasing the transient occupancy tax. And again, just to summarize the election cycle timeline that I presented to you 2 weeks ago, staff held a business roundtable with many of the hotel operators in San Bruno to discuss the revenue measure project and obtain much of their feedback, which we presented to you at the last meeting. We held a study session at the prior city council meeting on July 14th, obtained your feedback, and then incorporated that into the ordinance and resolution that are before you this evening. Tonight, staff is requesting your action in order to place that item on the November 2020 ballot. The city will then transmit all the required documents to the county by August 8th. A series of community outreach and education efforts will then be underway on August through October. The election day is scheduled for November 3rd, and then if the voters approve of the revenue measure increase, the new rate will take effect on March 1st of 2021. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director DiMartini. And again, if there's any members of the public that wish to speak, if you could raise your hand and I'll bring it to the colleagues. Just as a note, this item as well as the next one does require council to have a 4/5 vote in favor in order for it to proceed. Councilmember Medina, you have your hand?
No.
No worries.
Sorry about that.
No problem. Any questions from my colleagues?
No questions.
No. Okay. I'm seeing no members raising hands from the public, and of course, City Clerk will always stop me if I've overlooked, but I'm not seeing any. And with that, then this is for an action item, and it would need a resolution by 4/5 vote of the council. Is there any action?
For the chair,
Yes.
I'll make a motion to introduce the resolution.
Second.
Motion made Salazar, seconded Davis. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Mason.
Aye.
Councilmember Medina.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Salazar.
Aye.
Mayor Medina.
Aye.
Motion carries.